Hello Jigs and Ghouls, my Cradle addiction is still ongoing, so I've read book 4 last week and I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah, I went straight from book 3 to book 4, something that I'm not often doing. And did I get to book 5? Stay tuned and you'll see later in this video. Warning, there will be some spoilers for the series and for the book in this video. It's about book 4 in the series, okay? So I can't avoid that, but I'll try to not get into specifics for the sakes of the people who have not read this book yet, because they're wondering, is book 4 good or not? Or maybe, you just want to hear about it, you're not planning to read the series yet, but yeah, so there may be some spoilers, that's the whole point, but I'll try to get to be vague. And this book, Skysworn, starts with answering some of the questions that were set in the previous books. So we start learning about the pebble that Aidan also has in his pocket, and by the end of the book we learn the full backstory of how he got it and what is his plan. So that's a reason you want to keep reading, to learn about the pebble and what's Aidan's relationship with the Aidans. You learn this straight in the beginning of the book, but you learn about his motivation, how he found the pebble by the end of the book, okay? So you have to keep reading. And we learn a lot about Yerin's belt, which was an ongoing mystery in the previous 3 books, because something was off about this belt. And in the previous book we learned how she got it. Now we learn a lot more of what it is and how it works and where it came from, and that's really crucial in this book. So it's not, Will Wight is not jogging us around with answers. Some things are set up, some information are given, and then they come into play. And here the belt comes heavily into play in the second and thirds of this book. The first third of the book is dealing with Lyndon's and Jai Long's duel. And I won't get into details about what happened in the previous book, but here is where they fight. They were supposed to fight in the previous book, but it's not like it will take an entire book to get there. We just started before the duel and then we get the duel. And meanwhile, as everything is happening, we learn about the Abidan side plot that is starting to make a lot of sense. And yeah, it will definitely come later in these books, because it gets to be very important in the large scheme of things. And it explains a lot of the things happening, come to think of it. And at the same time, before the duel happens, Jai Daishu, the patriarch of the Jai clan, is trying to assassinate Aidan because they are rivals. But he finds it very hard to get an assassin because nobody wants to deal with Aidan. So he does something desperate that kickstarts the events that will definitely affect the last 2/3 of the book, as well as probably events that will set in motion a lot in the entire series and the grand scheme of things. And I think we get a hint about what is the calamity that will hit Lyndon's home place. Yeah, because of the Abidans playing games with mortals, we see that this may become faster than what we expected. Then again, we learn why Cradle is important to the Abidans, because once every 100 years, an Abidan is not an Abidan, prospective Abidan is able to ascend from Cradle. It's one of their breeding grounds, sort of. That's why it's called Cradle, the iteration 110. So yeah, we learn a lot of important stuff. So let's get to the duel, because I have mixed feelings about the big duel. It was kind of fun to read this, because we see Lyndon standing up on his own and fighting a much more powerful opponent, and the way this is resolved is actually making quite a lot of sense, and yeah, it convinced me. However, some of the stuff that are happening during the duel, they're just training a lot of the believability of stuff, and I really don't like Aidan in this book. because he's doing a lot of stuff that reek of plot armor, and he's acting way too arrogant, as if he's exceptional and rules don't apply to him. And I really want to see him getting a lot of hard knocks, because he deserves that. He is really arrogant and starting to be annoying to me. And the way things play out, yes, I really want to see him slammed around. And after the duel is settled, we go straight into a big adventure that was kind of interesting, and we learn that there is another rank over a lord, the monarch. Actually, we knew that because of the vision that the Abidan showed Lyndon in the first book, that there exists some monarchs, but we get some more information about who they are or what they are or how they rank in the big rank of the artists. And yeah, I'm kind of waiting to see how the ranks overlord work, how sages and monarchs and heralds work. Heralds is alright, it's from book 5. I think a herald is mentioned in book 5, but yeah, I'm really curious to see how this ranks works, because the way I understand it, they're not a progression, they're just branches over the lord. So yeah, Lyndon and company are way over their heads once more, but they somehow get by, and it's good to see them stand on their own, because they have risen in power and they're in a desperate situation and they have to make do with what they have. And Lyndon is actually kicking some ass, which is great to see that, because that's the appeal. You want to see Lyndon become more powerful and kick some ass and not be saved by somebody else or grovel for mercy. That's quite an interesting part. I'm looking forward to see more of that later on. But Lyndon is also realizing that with great power comes great responsibility, and that he made some deals in order to become more powerful that have consequences, and he has to deal with those consequences. He has to pay the price for the power he's getting. So that was quite interesting, because Lyndon is growing, and yeah, that's a big appeal. You want to see the main character grow. Yerin is as big-headed as ever, but that's part of her character. She's very aggressive, she's going straight into the fight. However, as we get into her backstory, it makes sense for her to be this way, because she has been through a lot and she has a lot of things to deal with. And we also get some new characters, with Akira Mercy being my favorite. She is this very tropey, aloof Gothalita character that brings a new dynamic to the group. She is a new addition there, but I think she's here to stay, and I'd love to read more of her. Yeah, it was not an excellent book. There were a couple of things I don't quite like, but it was fine. It was very entertaining, very, very fast read. And after finishing it, I jumped right into the next one, Ghost Water, which is even more rare to get to read 4 books in a row in the same series. I didn't. I actually took a break in Ghost Water, but I will tell you why when the time comes for me reviewing that book, because something really pissed me off about it. But yeah, Skysworn sure delivers, and sure opens up a lot of opportunities for the series to go to. Yeah, it's definitely a recommend. This series is definitely a recommend up to this point, and I believe that it will hardly become a bad series as it progresses. So yeah, it's 2 thumbs up from me. It's a 4.5 star or skull, whatever I have. I don't have a rating system. It's a 4.5 out of 5 stars for me. And I hope you get into the series and enjoy it. Thank you for watching.